she's so young. She's only 9. Yeah.
She's 9.
And it's like,
you
have 10 kids.
4.
You have 10 kids.
You finally admitted that you have 10 kids. Yes.
You have 10 kids.
For the record, Lauren does not have 10 kids. Okay? That is excessive, and it is a joke. She only has 4, which is still a lot.
So it is November 7th. Is it officially Christmas season in your house?
Oh my God. No, not yet. It is, but it's not. So in the house, she's been watching Christmas Hallmark movies, but there's no Christmas decorations. So it is Christmas
but
Eve
it
because,
isn't.
she feels the Christmas vibe and we got the Christmas candles and stuff, but I haven't put up any decorations because I'm just like, I'm going to wait this out as long as I can. It might not go up until like the week before Christmas. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know. I'm not a candle person because the scents like bother me.
Coquito.
What? No,
That's
you don't
Christmas.
have a coquito. Oh, well, yeah.
That
would be cool to have
awesome.
a coquito candle.
That's what I'm saying.
Someone needs to
Coquito.
make one. I bet you there is one.
A coquito candle. Oh,
There has to be one.
I got a friend that makes coquito every Christmas. Well, like I know, like she's somewhere. I met her in the Marine Corps. I don't know where she's at, but every Christmas never fails. I think she's Dominican. I can't remember. She's Hispanic though. She makes coquito for Christmas. If anybody could do it, it's probably her.
I know one year I did put all the decorations up like right after Halloween, and it was up for like a solid 2 months. And I think that was the only time I did that. I think more because I was like, well, we typically travel for Christmas break, and I was like, I want to enjoy my decorations, so I'm gonna put it up like earlier, and then that way I can enjoy it because I'm not gonna even be here during Christmas to like enjoy it. So that I mean that was okay, but yeah, with this birthday party for my oldest happening this weekend, like we still got all the spider webs and stuff up because his party's like a costume themed like Halloween party. So I'm like, we were in Hobby Lobby over the weekend getting some like last minute decorations, and I'm like, before we go in, I'm like, guys, fall blinders on because there's going to be Christmas explosion in there. You gotta like don't look at any Christmas stuff. And my kids know I do not want to hear no Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. Like, y'all better not try and do nothing. Even they start singing a song in the house and they're like trying to sing some kind of Christmas. I'm like, stop it. It's not Christmas. It's not. I cannot get with the whole, like, it's November 1st. Oh my God. Now it's like Christmas explosion. Like, I cannot.
Me either. I'm so glad I'm not the only one. That, and like, it makes me feel better that it's you, because it would be weird if, like, because you're my sister, like we were raised in the same household. It would be weird if you were like, November 1st, Christmas, and I'm like Grinch over here, like, no, like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet. Like, calm down.
It's not Mariah Carey season.
Oh my God, Mariah Carey season. I didn't know that was a thing until this year. You know she's going on tour. She's going to be like in Chicago and New York and stuff. She's doing
during this Christmas
tour.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Like,
Makes
I think
sense.
December she'll be around in
You think
December.
she likes it? You think she likes it? Like,
No.
I think as an artist, like if I put out a Christmas album, I would not expect for me to continually be performing it year after year after year. Like NSYNC did a Christmas album, and you don't hear them like, we're not all like, oh, it's NSYNC season. Like she's for some reason like dubbed the Queen of Christmas. And I don't know if I would like as an artist be like okay with that.
I don't even like singing Christmas songs to begin with. So if somebody asked me to make a Christmas album, I would flat out tell them no. But then again, that's me, and I've never been in the industry, so I don't know if I would be able to say no. So I'm going to just say right now that I would say no. But will I say no? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If someone's going to give me like $3 trillion, I'm just throwing a number out there, to make a Christmas album, I'm making a Christmas album, okay?
Yeah.
Even though I don't
That's
like
true.
Christmas. We'll even throw in the Grinch song, okay? You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
At some point I get into the Christmas spirit, but like usually I'm just like really like I feel like Scrooge right up until I reach a point, and then suddenly I'm like, it's Christmas, and then I'm like all into like I want to watch the Home Alone and all the things. Oh,
Yep.
they got a new season coming of The Clauses. Did you watch it last year
There was a
on Disney
season.
Plus?
The Closet.
You know the
I don't
movie
think
The
so.
Santa Claus,
Yeah, yeah.
the 3 movies of the Santa Claus. So they came out with a show last year, and it's like him and Mrs. Claus and their family. I think they have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. And so last year there was a season, and they came out with the second season that's going to drop, I think, tomorrow, the 8th, November the 8th. So we're all excited about that because that's going to start, and that'll get us in the Christmas spirit.
Oh,
Every
for
week
sure.
a new episode will drop. So I'm excited because I like Tim Allen and I love the Santa Claus movies. So
Yeah.
I was very pleased with how the season went last year. So
I didn't watch it.
you should go watch it. It was good.
I might have set for some of it because most of my watching TV is okay. I'm done studying. Let me go hang out in the living room, and I'm just watching whatever she's got on TV.
Lately, my TV watching has been binging 90210.
Are you serious?
Like I never watched it when it came out because I was too young. So I started from the very beginning, which is not fair because I technically did not watch. I missed like 60 episodes because not all the episodes are streaming. So some of them I'm missing. So as I'm watching it, suddenly there's like 2 episodes missing. And then like I'm like watching and I'm like, what the hell happened? Why is this? Blah, blah, blah. And so once I finished the Beverly Hills 90210, I jumped into, they did like another, like a spinoff called 90210, like that started 10 years after or 5 years after. I don't know. It started in like 2024, 2025. So I'm like on season 4 of that out of 5 seasons. So I'm almost done completing that whole journey. But that's what I've been watching. I just been, because it's like funny, but dramatic, but not too serious dramatic, you know? Mm-hmm.
You said 90210. I shit you not. A few months ago, she was binge watching 90210. And I'm like,
Really?
What is this? She's like, it's 90210. It's the greatest show ever. It's from my childhood. And I'm like, I don't think Lauren watched that show. Now I know why.
Oh, well, yeah,
we
it
were
started.
Too young, I guess.
We were too young.
It was strict. Like the stuff that we were allowed to watch, it was kind of strict. So I could see.
Needed to be age appropriate. Well, because it starts when they're like in 10th grade. And the year that show started was sometime in the 90s. So I would not have been in 10th grade yet at all. So I can see why, like, I wouldn't have been allowed to watch it. And then every year, it basically, they're the next year. And then eventually they're in college. And that show ran like 10 seasons. And this is back, dude, you binge Beverly Hills 90210. That takes forever. I think it took me a whole year to get through it because I would stop and like not watch it for a while. And then suddenly I want to watch it again. But they those seasons were like 20 something episodes each one. Nowadays a season can be like 8 episodes.
Yeah, 10 episodes. So this reminds me. So you going back and watching 90210. I was, I think, 24. How old am I now? No, I was 26. Maybe I was 24. I don't remember. One of the two. I was either 24 or 26 when I saw, it's on my Facebook somewhere because I totally made a Facebook post about it. I saw Forrest Gump for the first time from beginning to end, okay? The year I was born was the year that Forrest Gump came out. And I was like 24, 26 when I finally watched it from beginning to end. And I said, no wonder everybody loves this freaking movie. It's a dumb movie, but it is so entertaining. And I just like... Tom Hanks does a really good job in that movie. Like, I'm kind of a fan of Tom Hanks, but like sometimes I'm like, he's all right, you know. Like Castaway, great. You know, the Captain Phillips, I don't really like movies like that, so I'm just like, meh, good for you. I didn't know how many things that we say, like in society, come from the Forrest Gump movie. So Bubba said something, I forgot, in the movie. And I'm like, that's where that phrase is from. It's from Forrest Gump. What the heck? And I like made a post about it. Like I'm 26 years old or 24 years old. And I finally watched Forrest Gump for the first time in my life.
I love watching movies that like were a thing back then. Like recently, because of the new Top Gun movie, I was like, okay, I guess it's time for me to watch the first one from beginning to end.
I did the same thing.
So I watched the first one and I was like, I don't get it. This is talking to Alex. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand why this movie was so, oh my God, I don't get it. And then I watched the second one and I'm like, that movie was amazing. Like, I
Yeah.
honestly loved the Maverick version better than the first one. Like, how that's possible, I have no idea. But it was just so cool. I think it was more because of how it really is shot like in the plane. It's not like CGI and all that. It's like real.
Yep.
It kind of reminds me of another Tom Cruise movie, probably a Mission Impossible. And there's like a helicopter scene. And I remember there being like snow mountains. And I remember watching it in the theater and being like, oh my God, this is like so cool. I feel like I'm right there, like in it, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's got to be a Mission Impossible movie. That guy is crazy. Okay.
I can't believe he does his own stunts, man.
Mm-hmm.
How old is he?
Oh my God, he's old. He's not old, okay? I'm going to stop using the word old, and I'm going to tell you why. Hang on. Bear with me, okay? All right, you already know. Okay, so I'm a personal trainer, right? I'm doing a session, and one of my clients, we're going back and forth about something, and she said, she's 21 years old, okay? And she said, that's because you're old.
Wait, she said to you, that's because you're old?
She said to me, yes, like we were having a conversation back and forth, and then I remember she says to me, that's because you're old.
She's 21.
She's 21 years old. I'm not even 30 yet, and she called me old.
Wow.
I'm like,
she must thought you look. She must think you're older than you are. But
I'm very mature for my age. Don't get me wrong. I'm very mature for my age, and I appreciate it when people think that like I'm older than I actually am. And you know, it's like the opposite with everybody else. Like people love it when they think that you're younger than you actually are. But for me, it's the other way. I love it when people think that I'm older because I just have a young face, and I'm just like, I'm not young, you guys. Like I've like life has slapped me in the face. Okay, I'm not that young.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, that's why I don't
called
say
you old.
Anymore. Yeah,
oh my
she called
goodness.
me old. I'm like, I'm not even old. So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, who do I refer to as old? So like around 60. Okay, I'm changing my mindset. So if anybody like watches this and they're 60 years old, like I'm not calling you old. Okay, I used to. That was the old me. Like I am sorry. But I used to say that like people like in their 60s, like they're old or whatever. So now I'm changing it to somebody older. That way it's you don't know how actually old they are, but they're just like older than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you just say older. You say they're older.
Yeah, you say older.
Yeah, they're older than me.
Yeah, older. Yeah. Older than me. Somebody older, not somebody old. Yeah. But she just straight up called me old. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of butthurt that you called me old. I'm going to stop calling people old.
What'd you say to her, though? Like, when she
remember.
said that? I don't know if anybody's ever called me that in my face. I mean, other than my kids. They're like, Ma, you're old.
There could have been a few different reasons because technology-wise, I'm not very savvy. So I'm not the best millennial when it comes to technology. So she could have called me old in that way. Slang, I'm not caught up with like today's slang. So she could have called me old because of that. My knees might have popped. My back might have did something funky and I said, ooh, that kind of, maybe that's why she called me old. I don't know. I really don't remember.
Yeah, I know that like growing up, I didn't realize how old my teachers were in comparison to me. I, for some reason, always thought that they were much older than they actually were. And then once I was graduated, and then I kind of got like a sense for like, wait a minute, like a teacher can be like fresh out of college and they're like 25 years old. Yeah. I think at one point I had an English teacher who was like that young, and I didn't realize like how young she was compared to me. It's just crazy how when you're young like that and you're in like your teenage years, like you look at these older people and you just think they're much older or that they're much wiser too. Like looking at our parents, like me thinking that they knew everything, and then as I got older, I'm like, they didn't know everything. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm teaching mama stuff. Yeah, they're figuring it out.
Yeah, they're just like figuring out life.
I'm still trying to figure stuff out, and it's funny how the kids like look. The kids look to me from Armageddon.
Yeah.
Side note, we like to make jokes and periodically quote movies from time to time.
I watched a Goofy movie with the kids the other night because I was like, ooh, let's put this movie on. I was like, because I like the music.
I love that movie. Oh my god.
Probably one of my favorite animated movies.
It's one of my
It's just the humor.
It's one of my favorite soundtracks. One of my favorite.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack for sure.
Movie. Oh my god, I love it. I pulled up the soundtrack on Apple Music.
Mm-hmm.
I hit play and I went in the shower and I was jamming to that soundtrack. Myself in motion. Understand in emotion. And like I'm like trying to do the choreography too. If you listen to each other's thoughts. I love it so much. It's so catchy. And it's just like, oh, that's my childhood. Like I used to dance and sing this song like all day long. It would just be stuck in my head all day after watching Goofy movie all day. Just, I love it.
Yeah, I was in a mood that day that I put it on too. Like I was just like really tired. I just kind of felt meh. I think the yoga I did the day before kind of put me in like a place. Sometimes my yoga practices, like if you don't do yoga, you don't know this can happen. But part of the yoga practice is kind of understanding that emotions get trapped in our body. And so when you do yoga, you're letting it out. And so it can manifest as like anxiety or feeling like crying or whatever. So I think I was like in some sort of way that day because I typically do yoga at the end of the day. And then so that means the next day, sometimes I feel off and there's no obvious explanation for it. It's not like anything happened for me to just put me in a bad mood. I didn't stub my toe or anything like that. So that day I was just kind of feeling And I was like, by the end of the day, I'm like, let's put something on. Got to brush the girl's hair. And my third was like, the 9-year-old, she was like, I don't like this movie. I'm like, whatever, I'm putting it on because I like the music. And we ended up keeping it on because the little one.
Shooketh. I don't like this movie. What?
I know. I said I don't care. The 5-year-old kept watching and she started laughing at some of the stuff. And I'm like, I don't know when was the last time I put this on for her. And so she was entertained. And then when I was done combing the 9-year-old's hair, she sat down and just kept watching it. And I'm like, I thought you said you didn't like this movie. And so whatever. But yeah, it put me in a better headspace, just like the music. Like, because right away in the beginning, he does the performance and he, yeah. I forgot how, like, I think I forget how easy music can, like, turn my mood around. And make me feel good. Oh, I need to put that song in my feel good playlist. I have like a feel good playlist and I just added it the other day to my 90s playlist, but I need to put it in my feel good playlist because that's definitely one of those songs if I put it on, I'll be like, oh yeah, turn my mood around.
Do you have feel good in your feel good playlist?
What's feel good?
Feel good. Feel good. It's a Gorillaz song.
No, I don't know that song.
Okay, pause. Let me culture you real quick.
You're gonna have to text me the song.
I think it's a dumb song, but it's just catchy.
A lot of songs that are catchy or dumb, like the Vanilla Ice one.
Oh my god, yeah, that's a good one.
Ice, baby. I was just watching a YouTube video where he reacted to his video watching it, and he was explaining he wrote that song when he was 16. And so he was explaining some of the lyrics and what some of it means. Which was kind of cool and interesting, but he, I think, apparently believes, because he mentioned it more than once in that video, that computers have ruined the world. I'm like, okay. Says the man who's recording a YouTube video.
I was gonna say, I sent you the song.
Oh, I just got it.
Ooh, I just heard it.
I'll have to listen to it later.
Yeah,
I know, I've never heard that one.
It's a dumb song, but it's catchy. One of my buddies knows.
Oh, was that Barbie song? Oh my god. That Barbie. Oh my god, because of that movie, that song's like come back, and then I refuse to listen to the remix, whatever remix one that just came out with Nicki Minaj. Is it Nicki Minaj in it?
We all know I'm a lesbian, right? Nicki Minaj's Anaconda video is my favorite music video of all time. I will watch that video over and over again.
That's another song that she did that was like a remade, because there's like it pulls out the part from Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yeah, Baby Got. That's another like kind of stupid song that's popular.
Baby Got Back. But yes, she redid that song. Well, she didn't like redo the song, but she took the anaconda part out of the song. My anaconda
don't want.
And then they took it and they ran with it. And honestly, that video, like the video came out great.
I don't even know if I've seen that video, so I believe you though if you say.
Just watch it. Just watch it. I'm about to watch it again.
I don't think I can. I cannot handle Nicki Minaj. I can't.
Not in front of the children.
No, not even in front of myself. I can't handle Nicki Minaj. She's not my cup of tea. I can't. You know how you know how there's just some actors and there's just some singers that you just can't. Yeah. She's like just, Brad for Pitt, me, she's one of those that I just can't. I just can't.
I think Nicki Minaj is tolerable. I used to be obsessed with her like in high school. Cardi B, I'll tell you this. Cardi B is hilarious. And this is why. Because people will take her sound effects and like the things that she says and they will compile it into a video. And she's just making all kinds of sound effects. Like they just like compile all of that shit together and it just turns out to be a hilarious video.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, oh my God, she's hilarious. And it was like a Star Wars. There was this video that I saw. It was if Cardi B did the sound effects for like Star Wars or something like that. And it was like just like a bunch of Star Wars scenes, right? And they're like with Cardi lasers at each other. Yeah, with Cardi B sound effects. Like that's like one of the sounds. Oh my God, it's so
Alex would like that. I'm not a Star Wars person, so it would totally not make sense to me.
Find that video, look up. You could probably Google it as Star Wars and Cardi B.
Maybe she should do Harry Potter instead.
Somebody's probably on it.
Somebody do some Harry Potter sound effects with Cardi B stuff. That'll make sense to me. We've been watching the Harry Potter movies again. We watched the fourth one, so we wanted to finish watching it, so we might watch the fifth one in a couple of days. Finally paying attention to the Harry Potter movies. Like the first go rounds I watched it, I didn't really pay attention to it. I'm really bad. Okay, like I'm one of those people who think a lot, and so I think my problem growing up like was that I never really had time to like not do anything and digest my day. And so sometimes, because my husband likes watching movies, we end up at the movie theater and I would sit there and I'm like staring at the screen, but my brain is like thinking about something else. Or this sounds really bad. Sometimes like I'll read books to my kids and I'm reading it because your brain can read, but it can also think at the same time. And you don't read, you're not really comprehending. Yep. But we even do this if we're reading our own books. You know how sometimes you read a passage and then you're like, wait a minute, what was that I just read? Yeah. It's because your brain started thinking about something else. So I'm finally like watching the Harry Potter movies and actually like paying attention and following along and like, oh, like now it makes sense, you know? And for, I think so many movies when I was younger, it's like totally went over my head because I wasn't there. I wasn't actually there. I was like in my head.
I've done that a lot with like movies that I haven't seen in a long time, like movies that I saw when I was young. It's like, oh, I haven't seen this movie since I was like 10 years old or something, and then I watch it, I'm like, oh, that's what this movie is about. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I can't think of an example because I feel like there's just like so many movies that I did that with, but I've watched a lot of my childhood movies like over again. Oh my God, like Fox and the Hound. And it still gives the same result. Like I cry like a baby watching Fox and the Hound.
Alex loves that movie. I was really surprised. I remember learning that about him like early on. He's like, that's like one of my favorite movies. I'm like, that's probably what made me fall in love with him. It's because like one of his favorite movies was a dog movie from Disney. Like even though this boy was allowed to watch like horror movies at like 8 years old, his favorite movie was a dog Disney movie.
Yeah. Fox and the Hound. Oh my God, I love that movie. There's 2 different parts in that movie where I always cry, and I still cry as an adult. Oh, it's so sad.
Oh, I haven't watched it in a while. I don't know if the kids will let me try and put that on. Let's see how far we get into the movie.
Your third one will cry.
Oh yeah, she probably would if she sat there.
Tell It's
if
okay.
she sat
Even
there
I
long
still
enough.
cry.
Yeah, my
Todd. Like
my
just
husband will
thinking
probably
about
cry.
that part makes me want to cry. Todd.
I haven't watched it in so
So
long I
sad.
can't even remember.
I won't
But yeah,
spoil
it took me. I don't think I knew what Hermione's name was in Harry Potter until like the 7th movie.
Are you serious?
I am not even kidding. It wasn't until it was like towards the end because I remember. I guess somebody. I don't know how I went watching all those movies every year that they came out. That just proof that like I didn't pay attention. Like because and I didn't read the books obviously. I only read the first one, but that was in 2021. We were getting ready to go to Disney and Universal, and I was like, I'm going to read the Harry Potter book so that I can be familiar with the lingo and all that stuff before I go to the Wizarding World.
I must learn
And
the culture.
yes. Now I'm more cultured. It made it more fun.
First book.
Yes, it made it more fun.
That's awesome.
You're like, oh, I'm in Diagon Alley. Ah!
You start geeking out. Oh my god!
Yes, you start geeking out. Yep.
I love it. That's how I feel with the new Hunger Games movie, because the first series that I ever read.
Wait, there's a new Hunger Game movie?
Yes. Hold on, I'm about to geek out for a second. Okay, so the Hunger Games books, I read all of them. Okay, there's 4. There's 4 books. There's 3 Hunger Games movies right now. The 4th one just came out, and this one is about snow. Okay, this one is about the first ever Hunger Games. And in the book, it is just like, what? Snow is like a completely different person. What the heck? So I'm so excited to watch this movie. Like, I don't want to like give it away or anything, but
did you read
I really
the
wanna
book?
watch it. I read the book. Yes, I have it right here.
So I did know that there is a book with the snow version. So now they did a movie.
This is the snow book. Okay, so this is the
Okay.
last book of the Hunger Games series, and it's
Okay.
a Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and it's thicker than the other books.
Okay.
The other 3 are definitely smaller than this one.
So it
and-
goes back, right? It goes back to like when Snow was younger.
Yep, before the Hunger Games.
Gotcha.
So if you watch,
Because he's the one that
trailers-
created the Hunger Games, right?
I don't want to
See?
spoil it.
See, I've watched the Hunger Games movies, but again, I didn't pay attention. I didn't pay that close attention to know.
See, that's oh my god! You just have to read the books. Like
I'm gonna have to watch the Harry Potter movies. I mean, I gotta watch the Hunger Game movies again.
Yeah, you got to read the books, and
I think
then
my
watch
son has
movies.
the books. I don't know if I want to read
does.
the book.
He does. Oh, it's an easy read. It's so easy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is easy read. I just sometimes like when I read it and then watch it, I'm disappointed. Like when I read the Harry Potter and then I watched the movie, I was like, oh my god, there's like so much like they left out.
Yeah.
And then so I never read the rest. I tried to read the second one and I just kind of fell off of it. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna watch the rest of the movies and be fine. Like I understand. It's because I read the first one. I understand why it was just so good and why so many people fell in love with, the characters and just everything.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it, but
With the Hunger Games books, like I saw the movies first, and I think that worked out for me. Sometimes you have to watch the movies first because, like you said, like you read the book and then you get disappointed because there's so much stuff that they leave out. So like I read, so I watched the movies and then I read the book, or I read the books, like the 3 Hunger Games movies that came out. I read the 3 books, and then I watched the Hunger Games movies again, and I said, you know what? Like they actually did pretty good with the movies. Because all the other stuff that's in the book, like if you put that in there, like the movie would just be too long. It would just be too much stuff,
Yeah.
So I actually think that they did good with the movies, but the books are 100% better.
Always. Books are
and I'm
always
so
100%
excited.
better.
I'm so excited for the 4th one because the 4th book was probably my favorite. And I think it's because there isn't a movie out yet. And because there wasn't a movie before I started watching the book.
Yeah,
to compare it to. So I read the book with a whole new world and a whole you
have a blank slate because you
canvas.
you don't know because you didn't see yet. Yeah,
Exactly. I read the book with a blank canvas. So in my eyes, it was just the best book ever, because I have nothing else to compare it to. And it was just Oh my God. I don't know. Just, you got to watch the movie and then read the book.
Okay.
I said it backwards earlier. I said to read the book and then watch the movies. Nah, not with these. Watch the movies and then read the book because the book's better.
So the newest Hunger Game movie is out, or is it going to be out?
It comes out soon in theaters. Let me look it up.
Okay. Because if it's going to be out, I'm like, okay, I need to prepare. Now I think someone's streaming all the Hunger Games. Now I know why.
Yeah. Because
I don't pay attention to the news. Okay. For my mental health, I don't have any news apps on my phone. I don't watch the news. I figure if something is important enough, I will eventually find out. There are some podcasts that I have in my feed that are like NPR that, like, you know, give me like a 5-minute breakdown. And so sometimes the titles of those are just enough for me to kind of know a little bit about what's happening without actually listening to the episode. And sometimes I'll listen to it. But for the most part, you know, and okay, just to give everybody some food for thought, somebody, I don't know who, but pointed out to me the fact that, not like personally, but probably someone on a documentary or whatever, they pointed out how back in the day, before we were so interconnected like the way we are now, where at our fingertips we could Google something and get information about what's happening around the world. Now we have like the 24-hour news cycle channels and all this kind of stuff. Before all that, we were only given information like locally in our own like little bubbles, our own little communities. And it's almost like our minds and our brains really haven't adapted to receiving more information beyond that, because you can really only, just like you can only have so many real close relationships with people in real life. Like there's no way you can actually have a relationship with like 1,000 people and all the 1,000 relationships be like really good relationships. You'd be freaking exhausted to try and like keep up with that. It's the same thing. It's like you can't really keep up with like all the information and all the places around the world and like mentally be sane.
Yeah.
So
I was just thinking about that the other day. That's crazy. I was in the shower because I have all great ideas in the shower. And I thought,
yeah, we all
have great ideas in the shower. So I thought, you know, like the more that you know, I think that I had just watched a like Earth thing. I've been watching like Animal Planet stuff and like the history of the Earth and like evolution and stuff like that. Like a lot of like nature stuff. Anyways.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I had this thought. But the more stuff that you know, or at least like the more information that you know, the more anxious you just get about the world, because it's kind of like, now that I know this, do I want to experience this or something like that? You know, so like say you're doing research on, or maybe not research, or say you just found out that there's like a volcano in a certain part of the world, like Hawaii, which I'm pretty sure there is a volcano in Hawaii. And then you're like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. But now that I know that there's this deadly volcano over there that could erupt at any second, I don't want to go. You know, it's like.
Right. Because it's overdue for an eruption, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like, the more you know, like the less fun that you have, in my opinion. Like, think about it. And I'm not, okay.
Actually,
really
that's kind of true. I heard somewhere now thinking to, this is like the same as, it's like having options. Like I know in the planning community space, we have so many different planners that we could get, so many different choices. And it gets to a point where it can be overwhelming, to where it's like, because you know of all the options, you're not completely satisfied with the one that you have. Because you know of all the options, it's like comparison. It's the same thing with the whole keeping up with the Joneses effect, where it's like, because you know your friend has an Escalade, like if you didn't know that was an option, like the other day I actually was having this thought in the car, and I was like, if I didn't know, because I was thinking about how we sometimes compare ourselves status wise, like how old am I? What did I think I was going to be like at this age? What kind of wealth did I think I was going to have at this point? That kind of thing. And if you didn't have somebody else to compare it to, like, would you be happy with what you have right now? Probably yes. It's like the only reason why we are like dissatisfied with the choices we have, or like you said, you bring up the fact that we were all of a sudden given this information, like, you know, you watch the documentary about food and all of a sudden you're like feeling bad because a bunch of food has hidden sugar in it, and then all of a sudden you're like, what do I do about it?
Yeah,
And
that too.
yeah, it can be, it becomes overwhelming, and you're just kind of like,
That actually got to me
it's-
recently. So with sugar, okay, added sugars and then artificial sugars, okay. So I'm a personal trainer, right? And I tell people stay away from added sugars, and I tell people, you know, try not to have too much of like the fake sugars and stuff, because it's already been linked to health problems down the road, right?
Yep.
But if you think about it, a lot of things have this artificial stuff, added sugar, just regular sugar in general. A lot of stuff that you eat has this stuff. And if I tell you, actually, I might upset somebody right now. Rotisserie chicken has added sugars. Can you believe that? Rotisserie chicken, of all things. Ketchup, your ketchup bottle, the one that you're supposed to squeeze from the side and then release, and then the ketchup comes out. Just learned that. Ketchup has a bunch of sugar. So I try to tell people, you know, like, cut back on the sugar, cut back on this, cut back on that. And then they start reading labels and they're like, what can I eat?
Mm-hmm.
Everything has sugar. And it's just like, yeah, everything does have sugar. Like, you really have to be conscious of like what you're eating. And then like that will drive you insane, which is why a lot of people don't follow through with diets, because one, they try to do it too fast. That's the main reason. They try to cut everything too fast.
Yeah,
they don't
cut
do it,
everything
like,
out.
at a time. Yeah, they just cut everything. They cold turkey everything, and then they don't stick
one
with
at
it.
a time.
So you got to do it. Yeah, you got to do it one at a time. Where was I going with this? Okay, but if you, oh crap, I lost it again. Dang it.
It's okay. Habit building, when you're talking about like one at a time, that's one of those things where like, okay, we're coming up on a new year, right? And everybody's going to have all these resolutions and all these things that they want to do. Come the end of January, they're going to be already like not doing anything successfully because they tried to attempt to do a bunch of changes at once. Guess what? Our brain does not like change. Okay. What happens is our brain is trying to protect us. They know what it knows. And if it knows this is what's kept me alive for so long, these are the routines and these are the habits, I'm still alive today because this is what I've done. You change something, forget just changing one thing. You try and change 10 things at once, your brain is going to freak the F out, and it's going to do everything possible to stop you. So you have to start small. Like with, for example, if you want to get into a daily, or if you want to get into a habit of maybe practicing gratitude on a regular basis, start small. Or if you want to do yoga every day or meditation every day, start small, as in a small number of minutes. And pick a time of the day that you're going to do it. Set a timer, 5 minutes, that's it, and be done with it. Prove to yourself for like an entire month that I can do this one thing every single day consistently and I didn't die. Your brain is then going to trust you more to then add another habit later. So like if anybody wants to read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, it's great. It like really explains the importance of not so much what you're doing, but it's all about like the actions that you take leading up to it. So if like, for example, he gives an example, like if you want to work out, instead of telling yourself, hey, I'm going to go do a 30-minute workout, start small by like changing into your workout clothes every day consistently. Just start with that, because that's an easy thing. Like you think, okay, and then most likely by the time you change into your workout clothes, you're like, well, I'm already in my workout clothes, might as well do a workout. Yeah. And then tell yourself, I'm going to work out for 5 minutes. And then you work out for 5 minutes. You already did 5 minutes. You might be like, well, I already did 5 minutes, or I'm already at the gym. I might as well work out for longer than that. And so that's like the way that you kind of ease into it. Because if you try and just do gung ho all of it at once, forget it. That's exactly how you're going to completely fail. Just pick one thing that you want to do. Like, what's the most important thing? Like, if you want to wake up earlier or you want to go to bed earlier, just pick that one thing and just do that one thing because it builds your confidence. Like, I know that for me, after doing my daily yoga practice, I joined a challenge with Yoga with Adrienne in January of 2021. And I was like, I already was doing yoga on a consistent basis a couple times a week, but I had never done like a daily practice. So I did that 30-day challenge. And at the end of the 30-day challenge, I was like, I like doing this every day. I want to keep doing it every day. And I've done it every day since. And, but also, I remember it feeling like it developed this confidence in myself because I used to think that I was somebody that didn't like habits or doing something like consistently, like all the time. I thought that, I thought that about me, that like that was like just not something that I could do, that I could never like be that
Interesting.
person. And once I did that, then I was like, wait a minute. It totally like changed my mindset about like what I can do. And then I added other habits. And I remember, I did like a gratitude practice for like 30 days, and stuck with that for a while. And it's allowed me to kind of not be afraid to try other habits and things, knowing that I've successfully, weaved this one thing into my life. And it's been like fantastic as far as like mentally keeping me level and not this like yo-yo back and forth roller coaster thing that I was beforehand. So
Yeah.
definitely a little bit
Yeah,
at a time, not.
definitely one thing at a time. I don't talk about this a lot, but I'll talk about this here. I stopped drinking. And when I say I stopped drinking, I mean like my brain is completely like over drinking. And that was hard for me because I drank a lot and I drank often. I won't say how often and I won't say how much that I drank because I'm kind of embarrassed, but oh well, it's life. And I stopped drinking. But I did it one thing at a time. So when I moved, I said, you know what? I'm going to make all of these changes for myself, for the better. And there's a list of things that I still want to change. But the first thing that I started with was drinking. And I read this book called Bad Habits. Okay. Jen Sincero. And she says the same thing, just one thing at a time. And it's not so much, so the way that she explains it is, I mean, in my opinion, it's like she's talking to you. It's like she's your best friend and she's telling you like, get your head out of your, like, just do it because you're a badass. She has another book called called You Are a Badass. I have both of the books.
I think I read the You Are a Badass one. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the book that helped me with drinking because I realized that it just needed to be one thing and I just needed to either replace it with another habit or I forgot the other thing. But I pretty much replaced it with another habit. That habit I'm not going to say because I would like to keep it to myself. And I like to see how it plays out before I share it with you guys. just saying,
Fair.
It's pretty legit, but I gotta, keep at it. Well, but I stopped drinking. So, and now it's to the point where on Saturday we went somewhere. I had one drink and that was it. I was like, man, I like the taste, but I'm not trying to get drunk. Before I used to get drunk. I would drink. I never understood. Mama used to say this all the time. She would say, I don't drink to get drunk. I drink for the taste. And I never understood that until recently. I'm like, you know what? Like, I really don't drink to get drunk anymore. I just drink for the taste. And that is a huge step forward from where I was.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. And like, I forgive myself for drinking as much as I did when I did. Like, I forgive myself for that because at that time...
And I bet you your confidence is much better right now, right? Like, as far as like trusting that, hey, I can do this. Like, I've been able to cut back and,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, my confidence in being able to set my mind to something and not have to rely on something and know that if I want something better for myself, I know that I can do it because I did it. It's proof to me that no matter what I get myself into, I can dig myself out if I have to,
because you've done it before.
Because I've done it before. So now I kind of walk with, I feel like I've always kind of walked with that even when I was drinking, but now I feel like I kind of walk with a little bit more pride because I have more self-control, which is a huge thing that a lot of people struggle with is self-control. And even like I still struggle with self-control, like I'm not saying that I'm the expert because I stopped drinking. I'm just saying that like I accomplished something for myself. And I know that there are things that I need to work on personally as far as self-control goes. But because of that awareness that I have, like that's one step closer, like all you have to do is just be aware, like just be aware of the problem. And that is the first and biggest step towards like towards a self-recovery. If you feel like you need healing, The first
Right.
step is just admit that it's there and forgive yourself, because
Yeah.
everybody makes mistakes and everybody is their own biggest critic. That is huge. I forgive myself for, drinking as much as I did, when I did, and how often that I did. I forgive myself for that. And that was hard, because I kind of thought like, man, I wasted so many years doing this, or I wasted so much money doing this, but I can't think like that. I forgive myself.
Yeah, what's done is done.
Yeah, what's done is done. There was a place for it in my life, and now it serves no purpose for me.
Yeah.
That was the big thing, or that was one of the biggest things, was it had a purpose then, and it serves no purpose now. Therefore, I have to get rid of it. And that's what I did, because it served no purpose for me anymore. It wasn't helping me do anything anymore. It wasn't serving me anymore. So do something that you love until you no longer feel that it serves you, and then just move on from it.
Yeah. And another way of thinking about it is if you take a look and reflect on your daily habits and routines right now, is there something that you are doing that you probably shouldn't be right now?
Yeah.
And not shouldn't to say like judgmentally, but maybe you're doing it out of habit because that's just what you've always done. And you don't realize that, maybe I don't need to do that thing anymore. And that there's, you can reflect and think, why am I still doing this? And once you identify what the why is, for the most part, a lot of times, the reason we're doing habits that are, quote, bad for us is because of stress, or it's like a coping mechanism. So is there a different way that you can go about coping with that thing? And once you identify and try, something else, because like you said, you have to like replace the habit with something else that kind of can do the same sort of thing.
Preferably like replace it with something positive, something that's going to
something that's not going to something that's going to serve you, and it's not going to like negatively affect your health.
Yeah,
that's
if
good.
It's not serving you, then just get rid of it. One thing at a time, though. There's still a couple things that I got to do, but
one thing at a time.
Yeah, I at least stop drinking, and that gives me the confidence to, be able to stop anything else that I might get myself into. But for right now, like I've been focusing on protecting my energy. So I have been meditating in the shower. I shower every day. So I'll shower and I'll meditate in the shower, and I'll do like breathing stuff where, you exhale, whatever. That's what I've been doing recently. That's one of my like de-stress habits, I guess, that replace drinking. Like a few things replace drinking. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil it. But one of the things that I used to replace drinking, especially like for nighttime, because I used to drink at night to like calm down and like get rid of the day.
You had to create a new wind down routine.
Exactly. Instead, I take a shower and I wash the day off of me. That's how I think of my showers, especially when I meditate. I'm like, today is done. I did what I could. I had a great time doing it. I am still blessed and I am still grateful, but I washed today off of me. Today is done. And that's
how I think about my yoga practice, because I do it at the end of the day for most of the time. That I think about it like that, where it's like, okay, letting go of whatever happened today, whatever stress I might have clinged onto and trapped into my body. This is my time to let it out, so that I don't continue carrying it over with me while I sleep and into the next day. And I think that's like just been so beneficial, like mentally and physically.
That's been helping me a lot. Same thing, mentally and physically. It's great. All right, I gotta go. I'm like an hour late. Well,
I'm like,
really.
What time did you say?
Whoops. I mean, it takes an hour to get there, and he usually doesn't start until like 5 minutes after, and it takes like 5 minutes for me to walk there, so I'll be all right.